Hi, I'm Claudia Brown Coulter with Pivotal Peace, and I am your go-to mediator for couples navigating divorce while parenting their children with special needs. I'm also a legal document assistant, LDA, based in the greater Los Angeles area. Welcome to Mediation Mondays. Today we're talking about things you need to consider before you get that divorce. Things you need to consider. So while you're contemplating a divorce, you want to be thinking about, I need a detailed parenting plan. Yes, you do, because your child or your children have very unique needs. So you need more detail than someone else might need. You need a plan that is tailored specifically to your family. You want to think about their medical care, their therapy schedules, any additional education requirements. And the other thing, really, things can get lost in the shuffle of divorce and transition and changing from one school to the next and moving from house to house. So you really want to take your time before you choose to revoke services that maybe you will regret later. So just take your time. Don't rush into any major decisions about changing things for your children educationally until you've really had time to think through things. Okay. Then also, I want you to think about your finances. Your children may end up needing child support longer than age 18. You may need estate planning so that when you are gone, they are taken care of. And also, you might want to consider consulting with an attorney. You can hire an attorney, certainly, or you can just consult with them. They can review your agreements. They can make sure that you are legally protected. They can look at what your children need, make sure that their needs are taken care of. So you can settle your divorce out of court. You can settle your divorce without lawyering up, but you can consult with an attorney and get some great legal advice. Next, I want you to think about the emotional support you might need. I want you to think about you might need some therapy, individual therapy. Your children might need some sort of counseling to help them adjust to the idea of a new home life. Maybe you've been in couples therapy, maybe not. Maybe you decide to do that as you talk about how you are going to map out this path to separate lives, right? Because you're on this one road right now and your roads are separating. Okay, so you're going to need some planning on how you're going to do that. Also, you want to think about, okay, maybe I can reach out and find some support groups in my area or online of parents of children with special needs. Maybe you already belong to those. Begin to ask them, how have you handled divorce? Not all of them are married. A lot of them aren't. So there's probably a lot of single parents in there. You can begin to ask them, use them as your brainstorm partners to have conversations, to find support, to see how did they do that. Use them as sources of inspiration. I can't tell you how beneficial it is to know that somebody has done this before you. You can get ideas from them, you can improve upon them, and the fact that you know that you are not alone, dude, that is everything. Sorry, I like dude. Okay, so then also, I need you to talk to your school. Talk to the children's school. Let them know that this is happening. A lot of this is going to sound like a broken record, but hey, that's what I'm going to do. I need you to tell the school. They need to know. They don't need to know all the gory details, but they need to know that the family life is changing. So that when your child goes to school and they're exhibiting different behaviors, it's not out of the blue. The school staff has an idea of, oh, maybe this is a reaction to this. This is not a child with special needs, but this illustrates this perfectly. We had a first grader at the school. It was towards the beginning of the year. She was the youngest of all the children. All of her older siblings were at the school. Great family, wonderful, well-behaved children. This little girl was really nice too, but she kept eloping. She kept running away. We could not get her into a class. The bell would ring. She wouldn't go to class. She would stay outside and cry Eventually, we kind of cornered her and got her into the classroom. This had been going on for quite some time. Mom didn't know what was happening. The school never called mom. The principal never made the phone call. The teacher never made it. Nobody ever called mom. So mom saw this little girl kind of get cornered until, she could be calmed down and taken to class. Then mom comes and tells us, oh, my husband just got deployed. Your husband is deployed? Your baby girl is missing her daddy and she's scared and you didn't think to tell the school? Problem cleared up immediately. Immediately. Small example. But if you let the school know, they can handle things differently. Okay. All right. And that girl, I don't even know. She's probably an adult now. Great kid. She was a great kid. Her life was just changing for a little bit, and she was scared and didn't know how to express herself. Sometimes as adults, we don't know how to express ourselves either. So let's talk about some practical tips. Practical tips. So you want to, as you're approaching this divorce, get all your documentation. Do you have copies of the IEP or the 504 plan? Make sure you have a copy of it. Does your spouse have a copy of it? Probably not. It might be nice to just make a second copy so that when they ask for it, here you go. You got that second copy for them. You're ready. You want to look at grab their medical records, their therapy schedules, any sort of appointments, things. You want to get it all kind of in one place. Because the chances are, or financial things as well, there's one person in your relationship that is far more organized than the other. So whoever that is needs to gather that information because your spouse needs to know that information. They probably don't know that information. So now you have to really explain things to your spouse. You got to get them in a place where they're in a headspace to listen, to hear, that they don't feel like they're being talked down to, right? But we all know our spouses, right? And we all know when they can and can't listen to us. Even when we're going through a divorce, we know. So gather that information and put it in any format that works for them. Maybe they need a visual calendar. Maybe they just need a list of things. Explain it to them. And then just wait. You don't need to tell them what to do. Explain it to them. Because then as a couple, maybe not as a couple together like this, but as co-parents, you are your children's parents, you can decide who's going to do this and who's going to do that. So you can divvy up responsibilities, but your co-parent needs a fuller picture than most likely what they have right now. And then this really leads into this conversation of creating consistent care and routine. When everyone has a full picture, then we can create consistency because now our eyes are open, the lights are on, we know what our children need. But we're also not going to be perfect. If you're handling everything and your co-parent starts handling things, which they should, they're not going to do it perfectly. So just be ready and give them grace and give yourself grace. I know that's hard. Okay. And then you want to think too, as you're looking at your divorce, what type of planning do we need for our children? Do we need an estate plan? Do we need to talk to someone who can help us put that together so that our children are taken care of? They're well taken care of. How are we going to manage this money? Yes, we're dividing things, but what are you going to do and what are you going to do to provide for our children? Some people keep things together specifically for their children and they continue to put money in it. Other people say, okay, I'm going to do this and you're going to do this, and they do it separately. But the goal is the same. The kids, taking care of the kids. That's the same. So if you have questions, if you need more information, if you want to mediate, if you want to just talk to a mediator and see, is this right for me or not? Go ahead and click my link and schedule a call. 15-minute phone call. You and I can chat, see if this might work for you. If we think both of us think it might be a good fit, we can have a Zoom consultation where we talk, you get your spouse on there, we meet like this on Zoom, and we really talk about your needs and what would work for you. Thank you so much for joining me for Mediation Monday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and have a great week.